Hello again, everybody. Now we are back to the series about pedophilia and the associated things with it. I dropped a couple of different videos, hopefully giving my break. That the series can go pretty deep. I received an email asking if I was going to cover anything about the Epstein files, and yes, I am. But I'm not going to cover what is in the Epstein files. I'm going to cover more about how rich people can cover up crimes associated to pedophilia, but that's a little bit later. I do have a few other ideas that I'm working on writing up the scripts and stuff for that's going to come before that. I'm not political in any way. I'm not going to turn something on this channel really political unless it is about the laws and the bills being passed towards the LGBTQ plus community. Then I will get kind of political. But other than that, no, I'm not really going to cover the Epstein files. I'm interested in it, but more along the lines of just getting the victims justice. Like, I don't care who was involved. I don't care if they're Democrats, if they're Republicans, if they're movie stars, if they're musicians, if they're somebody that's just homeless and got picked up on an airplane. Like, I really don't care who they are, like what they represent. I care about the victims. I care about getting the victims justice, seeing people behind bars, and completely protected so that they don't get quote unquote Epstein, because the ones that go to jail can give more information that will get more victims justice. But that's as far as I would go with the Epstein files. Like, that's not what this series is about. This particular video is how to get people to listen when someone discloses abuse, and of course the legal pathway to bring attention to it. So when someone discloses that they have been abused by a pedophile, the most painful part is often not the trauma itself, but the silence that follows. Survivors frequently face disbelief, minimization, or outright dismissal. This silence can deepen the harm and make healing feel impossible. But there are ways to be heard, ways rooted in credibility, safety, and the law. This video will explore how survivors and their supporters can break through that silence and bring attention to abuse in responsible, legally protected ways. And number one, why survivors are often ignored and how to break through that silence. People sometimes struggle to believe disclosures of child sexual abuse because the topic is uncomfortable. They fear that the consequences of acknowledging it, the abuser is someone respected or trusted. They don't understand trauma responses, and they assume there must be more to the story. Understanding these barriers helps survivors and advocates communicate more effectively. So how to help people listen? There's numerous ways. I'm going to name a couple here, but the list goes on and on. You speak clearly and calmly, even when emotions are strong. Use factual language, not speculation. Share only what feels safe, not every detail. Explain the impact, not just the event. Bring a support person when speaking to institutions or authorities. And document everything: dates, conversations, behaviors, witnesses. Literally document everything. People listen more when the message is organized, consistent, and supported by documentation. And number two, choosing who to tell and in what order. Not everyone is equipped to respond appropriately. Survivors should choose their audience strategically. Start with people who have a duty to act: law enforcement, child protective services, school administrators, medical professionals, and mandated reporters such as teachers, counselors, social workers. These individuals are legally required to take disclosure seriously. Then move on to telling trusted supporters like a close friend, a family member, a therapist, a survivor advocate. Supportive listeners help survivors stay grounded and confident. 3. Legal ways to bring attention to abuse. There are several safe, lawful, and effective ways to make sure abuse is acknowledged and addressed. Number 8. Reporting to law enforcement. This is the most direct legal path. You can file a police report, request a detective specializing in child abuse, provide documentation or witness statements, ask for a victim advocate to be present. Even if charges are not immediately filed, the report creates a legal record that can be used later. B. Reporting to Child Protective Services. CPS investigates abuse by caregivers, abuse occurring in the home, and abuse involving anyone responsible for the child's welfare. A CPS report can trigger safety plans, home visits, interviews, referrals to law enforcement. C. Filing a civil suit. Civil cases can be brought against the abuser, institutions that failed to protect the child, schools, churches, youth programs, or organizations that ignored warning signs. Civil suits can bring public attention, force institutions to release documents, result in financial compensation, and hold organizations accountable. Many states have extended or reopened statutes of limitations for survivors. D. Working with a victim rights attorney. Legal advocates can help survivors understand their rights, file reports, navigate investigations, seek protective orders, pursue civil action, and communicate with institutions. Attorneys specializing in child sexual abuse are trained in trauma-informed communication. E. Speaking with a journalist safely and legally. Survivors sometimes choose to share their story publicly. To do this safely, consult an attorney first. Avoid naming the abuser unless legally advised. Work with reputable journalists experienced in trauma reporting. Request anonymity if needed. Media attention can pressure institutions to act, but it must be done carefully to avoid legal complications. F. Filing a complaint with oversight agencies. Depending on where the abuse occurred, survivors can file complaints with school boards, state education departments, licensing boards, religious oversight bodies, youth organization headquarters. These complaints create official records and can trigger investigations. Number 4. How to be heard in institutional settings. When speaking to schools, churches, or organizations, use structured communication. Provide a written statement, include dates, names, and specific concerns. Request a formal response. and keep copies of everything. Bring an advocate. A therapist, attorney, or survivor support professional can ensure you're treated respectfully, help you stay grounded, and document the institution's response. Follow up in writing. Written communication creates accountability. Number 5, supporting the survivor's voice. Survivors are more likely to be heard when they have emotional support. They have legal guidance, they are not isolated, and they are believed by at least one trusted person. A single supportive listener can change the entire trajectory of a survivor's healing and justice process. 6. What not to do. To stay safe and legally protected, survivors should avoid confronting the abuser directly, posting accusations online without legal advice, threatening retaliation, destroying potential evidence, or trying to investigate on their own. These actions can complicate legal cases or put survivors at risk. When someone says that they have been abused, they deserve to be heard with compassion, seriousness, and urgency. While not everyone will respond appropriately, there are people and systems that must listen, legally and ethically. Survivors are not powerless. Their voices can lead to investigations, accountability, institutional change, legal justice, community awareness, and personal healing. Being heard is not just possible, it is a right.